just reaching for a piece of you.
Hi, welcome to Killer Drums, and this is Gear, Gear, Gear. I'm Tony Moore, and we're here with Jackie Barnes at Mooloolaba Music, checking out some more gear. But before we get to the new kit, have a look at this. This is one of my favorite kits. This is a Premier modern classic drum set, beautiful mahogany and birch, lovely drums. And this is the segue into this kit. Jackie, what are we talking about today, and what's the connection between Premier and
British Drum Company?
Yeah.
One of my favorite brands of drums now. Like I own some of these drums. I
Made in China?
Yeah.
Where are they made, Jackie? Tell us.
Chinatown in Manchester. These are handmade in the UK, in Manchester to be specific. They're made by Keith Keogh.
Who also made this drum?
Also made that drum.
Yep.
And previously KD Drums, which is a custom drum making company from the UK, before Keith then joined Premier.
So he's clearly skilled, cut his teeth on lots of stuff.
Can make drums.
Yeah, there's some beautiful looking shells here.
And he was poached by Premier to make the modern classics.
Yep. And their one series snare drums, which were like aviation kind of looking drums.
Yeah.
They were beautiful.
And so he brought a real kind of resurgence to the Premier brand. And then they kind of dropped off the map a while after that and kind of ceased. I believe they ceased their production in the UK.
Yep.
And then Keith branched out with a bunch of partners. He's got a few different partners that came on board, and they formed British Drum Company.
Beautiful.
They're beautiful drums, classic looking.
Absolutely. These lugs hark back to kind of Premier, early Premier.
They've got that kind of, or they call them the Palladium series hardware. So very classic, that kind of Art Deco look.
Yep.
We'll do some close-ups here so you can see how cool they look.
Yeah, beautiful.
They're just a super classy looking drum kit, but there are some features to these shells that, set them apart from other brands.
So what's the timber?
So these are Scandinavian birch.
Euro birch.
So Scandinavian birch and mahogany.
Beautiful.
So
mahogany brings our pitch down lower.
Brings the lows, brings that kind of warmth.
Yep.
Obviously birch has a lot of, attack and...
Yeah, we love birch.
We love birch. But mahogany is like, it lowers the fundamental a little bit, makes them a little, better
Put
to
some
record.
love back
They
into
record really nice.
Yeah.
It's a mellower tone wood, so it's just kind of it brings a different aspect to cool that attack of the birch.
So with that kind of timber, what kind of edge are we looking at?
So we're looking at a 30-degree round over bearing edge, which gives a lot of contact with the drum head.
Yep.
Which fattens the sound up. One of the other companies of drums that I love that do that are Gretsch.
Yep. Nice.
Their edges are wonderful for, shell to head contact.
Yeah, it makes them sing.
It also changes the way they feel when you hit them. So a sharper 45-degree bearing edge will spring back a bit more when you hit it.
Yep.
These you kind of dig in a little bit more, and they're a little kind of. I kind of prefer the way they feel.
Yeah.
It's like a nice kind of heaviness to that response.
Like a warm bath, not a slab of concrete.
Exactly. But sweet. Beautifully made shells. They're a 9-ply. Cross-laminated shell.
Yep.
They resonate beautifully. They're just beautiful drums. So this is a wrap finish.
Yeah. What finish is this one? What color is this?
Well, it's like a white
marine
pearl.
Is that what
they call it Windermere pearl. So all of their finishes are named after kind of British things.
Yeah.
And British places and sort of things, just to kind of it's going back into that theme. They wanted a British drum company.
Yeah.
They wanted something that's all British. Super cool with the raw hoops as well.
Yeah. So are they mahogany?
They've got their birch and mahogany, I believe.
Mahogany.
And there's a stain a little bit of stain there.
Yep.
Looks beautiful, contrasting off the white coloured shell.
Looks great. And I've got this little packet here of something. Check that out.
Tom Springs. So these come standard on all the Lounge Series drums, and what they are is you attach them to three of the tension rods.
Yep.
And basically any snare drum stand, no matter how rubbish it is, you'll create a gap between the hoop of the drum and the snare stand, so you can
stops it earthing and going dead.
and it allows resonance. And
Nice.
if you see it here, you can see it actually as you close the snare stand,
So,
it'll
tighten it
compress it and compress that
So it
tone
can
a little
choke
bit,
it a bit. Yeah,
choke
cool.
it a little bit, or you can loosen it. And it's still going to stay in place, and it's going to
Nice.
allow it to resonate a bit more. So those are things you can buy
Nice
separate.
little advancement, yeah.
It's a cool little thing they developed that you can add to any drum.
And you're saying you can get a direct to mount. So actually, what model is this one?
So this is the Lounge series. So the
Lounge,
Lounge is your Scandinavian birch with mahogany with the round over 30-degree bearing edge.
Beautiful.
And they're kind of like what I would call their classic sounding series. So they're geared towards the vintage heads. They've got that nice warm vintage tone.
Yeah.
Then they do the Legend series, which are 100% Scandinavian birch shell with a 45.
Oh yeah, so really.
So a bit more attack.
was
bit more,
Iron Maiden guy playing them?
Nico, I think
Yeah.
he was, and or is, and we had one in the shop, and it's a cracking kit. It's awesome. They rock players love them.
Yeah.
They've got they're loud
And they
in your
voice
face,
really well too.
Voice really well. Obviously, being high quality birch, they have that natural EQ.
Yeah.
Mics love them, but they come standard with a direct to shell mount.
Yep.
Rather than
it's
the
an
tom
ISO
springs.
kind of mount, though, isn't it?
It's it's actually quite similar to what's on the it's quite similar to the floor tom mount. So you've got a little bit of a gap.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so it's quite similar
That's
to
one thing I
that.
noticed about this drum. Now I don't know when these came out, but it's direct to shell.
Yeah.
But it didn't need any rim system, and when I pulled all this apart and had a look, it was actually kind of isolated from the shell, which I assume what's happening in the
it's actually
in the
pretty
leg.
similar to what's on the floor tom.
Yeah, nice.
There with some isolation, and direct to shell mounts. They you don't lose tone. I think that was a bit of a
Tune
gimmick.
them out anyway. Yeah.
Like when you record them, they sound great. It's how you tune them and what heads you use.
Most floor tom legs are direct to shell.
Exactly. And so with the Legend series, obviously they spec them with the direct to shell mount.
Yeah.
But with either of these series, you can custom order with or without.
Whatever you
So
like.
if you like the tom spring idea, you can. You can obviously remove them if you just like to have them on a stand.
What if I wanted English racing green with a little bit of sparkle?
Then you'd have to be me and order it.
That's what Jackie's ordering. One of those. I think it's coming to my place actually to match my shoes. No.
But then other cool thing they do is they put an extra badge here just in case you do go for a rim system, so you can have the badge up.
And we like that
front.
because
We
it
like
doesn't
that
hedge us in.
aesthetics.
It's nice.
Obviously line up your logos.
Yeah, we're a bit like that. And this snare drum, I'm looking at this and I'm going, that is really pretty.
I may as well pick it up because it is a.
And there's a story about this.
The story about it, it's also a very rare bird.
Yeah.
We like rare birds here.
We do.
So this is the Archer, and it's a very special snare drum. It's a 14x6 10-ply English yew wood
Nice.
shell. So yew wood, just for those of you who don't know, it's used for making longbows historically.
Yeah.
Really great sound. It's got a lot of attack.
Yeah.
I would say sonically higher pitched. It sounds better in my
you
opinion.
would probably, if it's used for archers, bows, would probably be similar to like a Euro Beach.
Euro Beach.
Euro Beach, yeah. Euro Beach. Euro Beach. Just with the grain, but looking at that, it's very closed grain. So
Yep, it's
what thickness is that?
So this is a 10-ply shell.
Yep. So quite bitey.
Quite bitey. To me sounds good in the mid to top end tuning.
Yep.
So I've got this tuned a little higher, quite high on the reso.
Yep.
And a little bit higher on the batter as well.
With single flange.
Single flange, claw lug.
How thick are they?
They are
They're
pretty thick. It's a pretty thick shell, I think.
Yeah.
Probably even 10 mil around there.
Nice.
But little details on their drums. So British Drum Co. and the attention to detail is where they really get me. If you look at the badge, just have a look at that.
Yeah.
The little bit of green sycamore, I think it's sycamore actually underneath.
Yeah.
And they've painted that green just because of the story of the drum. It's kind of like the Robin Hood of drums, because of the archery, history of that wood. So that little pop of green. You've got gold-plated
that's
tension
nice
rods
too.
that pops off the chrome hardware. Little attention to detail, things like that just set them apart. The claw lugs are super cool. You've obviously got Remo USA heads on all the drums.
Yeah.
reso and
Snare wires look like.
they make their own snare wires as
Are
well.
they brass or are they bronze? Or they're one of the two. But they look, actually that looks like brass.
We'll find out.
But actually, I don't know. That's
They make their own straps, you know,
They
with
got the
little
straps.
pops of colour.
We're talking about ribbon straps,
Yep.
and it's got ribbon straps. Just the little touches really, really make it nice.
Little things, like obviously I'm just going to
Yeah, pop that up.
So, if you have a look inside the drum, see a little bit of wood there?
Yeah, that's really
So
nice.
they quite often have little pieces of wood
Yeah.
kind of like embossed with the British Drum Co logo on
Yeah.
there, just to kind of add little
yeah, it's
personalised
kind of more
kinda-
heirloom again.
Yeah.
Like we often talk
and
about
then
heirloom
and then
drums.
each drum has its own story,
Yeah.
and there's the Archer badge
With an arrow.
arrowhead, which
Yeah,
is
that's so nice.
it's really cool. It's
I can't wait to hear 'em.
And this is the only one in the country, so
Is it?
these are hard to find. You know, it's like
I'll fight you for it.
let's get it.
Let's get two guitars and let's do a battle.
Who can play the worst chords?
I was thinking of like sword fighting with them. That was all.
Another thing I got to talk about these shells is the way that they make them.
Yeah.
So most ply shell drum makers use a heat pump.
Yep.
You know this? So you use
so
heat
heat
with the
pressure.
glue to allow the
Yep. And sometimes steam, obviously.
Yep. Completely different way of making drums.
Yeah.
They use what they call cold press
Yeah. So for all the coffee people out there,
juices.
cold press.
This is like the cold press juice of
It
drums.
is. So basically mold, and then what? We're laying up all the veneers inside.
Yep.
We're gluing them, and then we're letting them sit for a couple of days.
So you basically the heat process allows the plies to bond faster.
Yep.
So you can speed up the process of making shells.
Yep.
They leave them for longer because obviously without the heat,
Yeah.
you need that glue to do its job.
Yep.
What it does allow them to do, this being a wrap, it allows them to have the wrap on the shell
As a ply.
as a ply. Yeah.
Nice.
So they're pressing that onto
So
the
there's
shell.
so often when we used to get old school wrap drums,
Yeah, you get those little
they were-
bubble-
and they were dead
yeah,
because it's an air gap. So
exactly. So
and
this
way
is
it's full
essentially an
contact.
extra ply, and it's
Beautiful.
being done in the process of making the shell. So
Yeah.
that wrap is part of the shell
Yeah, that's nice.
from the first stage, which I think is really cool. What they do is if you look at other companies, quite often they'll overlap
Yep.
the wrap.
Yeah.
And they'll usually put like the lugs over it or something, or you'll
Yeah.
cut a little bit out of the shell and kind of hide it
Yeah,
in.
we know who does that.
What they do is they have it lined straight up.
Yeah.
So you've got a straight seam.
Yep. So butt join.
And if you come around and film this little bit here, Ben,
Yeah.
have a look at this little strip. So they've actually created a design where they put this little racing strip down, glued over that seam, so you
Yeah,
can't see it,
it's
but it
nice.
becomes a nice little feature.
It is. Yeah.
And what you can do, you can actually spec for them to put your name on it, your shop's name. You can
Nice.
get initials. So if you're getting it for a gift, you can get them
yeah.
to put
It says Tony Moore.
yeah.
Oh, thanks, mate.
Free.
For free. Nice.
Yeah, so that's a cool feature, and it's
lovely.
It means you don't have that overlapping and that
Yeah.
little air gap.
And when that sits up near the top, near your head, it interferes with the head.
Yeah.
And mucks around.
So it's a really cool way of making shells. So they're doing some really cool stuff.
Yeah.
They look cool. They sound great. They come with coated ambassadors
Yep.
as batters.
Yep. And clears.
Clears.
Beautiful.
As your resos.
What's on our?
On our bass drum, we've got a clear P3.
Yep.
Power Stroke
Front.
3. Front is not even sure.
Logo. It's a logo.
It's a logo head, but it's
So
made by
probably-
Remo. It's made by Remo USA, so it's one of their. It's most likely what do you call
It
it?
may have a slight dampening ring.
Yeah,
perhaps.
yeah.
Just hit it for me.
It does have a little. I can see a little
can see
dampening
it?
ring.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've got it tuned openly.
Yeah. Let's hear. Ooh. Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. Round tone,
That's nice.
warm.
You can actually hear the p, but you
Yeah.
also get the hum, which is really that mahogany kicking in.
And it's these drums. This is a 20 by 14 bass drum.
Yep.
12 by 8 rack tom. 14 by 14 floor.
pretty
with
classic,
the 14 by
yep.
6 snare. It's kind of like
Not for jazz.
not just for jazz. Can be for
Not
jazz.
just for jazz.
But I've got these. These to me, the sweet spot is a little bit higher.
Yeah.
I quite like the way they sound a little bit higher than standard tuning.
Yeah.
They just have
Let's
a
have
really
a listen to the
beautiful-
toms.
Yeah. So I'll do bass drum
Yep.
and the toms. So here's the bass drum with an open tone, so not bearing the beater because we don't have the hole in the front.
Front side, yep.
So. Beautiful.
That's great.
All right, let's hear this rack.
Yeah,
Nice
you
tone,
can hear
yeah.
it's growling at you, isn't it?
I like growl.
Yeah.
And there's something about the growl you get from a 14, especially a 14 by 14.
Yeah.
They've just got this natural growl, which I like.
Nice. Let's hear.
Oh.
That's very good. That's very. I can see there's going to be some blood in the water by the end of the night with this snare drum.
Yeah. In actual fact, I own this exact kit.
Nice.
I was so impressed by the lounge series in particular. They're phenomenal
Beautiful.
drums.
You just need this.
Yes,
There's one of. I know where it is.
it will be mine. No, this is gorgeous.
So
I've got
kind of
a few
retail.
friends who have heard this snare and come and checked it out, and they've been close to grabbing
Yeah,
it.
I'm kind of looking at it.
There's a few of us looking at it. So
We're having competition. Who will take the snare?
should we talk about the cymbals a bit?
Yeah, let's hit that snare.
hit the
for me.
snare first.
Yeah, give us a taste test on the snare on.
All right, so snares off first.
Yeah, nice.
Nice and bitey.
I think you need to work on your playing a bit.
Yeah, I'm
Nice.
It's a beautiful snare.
It's got beautiful low end in it.
Yeah, even though it's
loving it.
tuned higher, you've got an incredible amount of body in the drum. It's also a 30-degree roundover on this drum
nice.
as well.
Okay.
So you've got good shoulder-head contact, which I love.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah.
So you've chosen some cymbals. What have you chosen to match this kit this time?
All right. Well, for very musical sounding drums, I went for some very musical sounding cymbals.
Yeah.
Turkish cymbals by a company called Murat Diril. So Murat
Awesome.
is a wonderful cymbal maker. From,
He's made cymbals for people like Pasty.
Yep.
Yep. So he's made Pasty
Meinl.
20 series and Meinls.
The
Yep.
Byzance series.
So he's a cymbal, an artisan, a cymbal smith.
Yep.
He's very well known in the cymbal world.
And well respected.
Yeah, for making instruments, not just cymbals, instruments.
And
So what are these?
So these are the Superior Velvet series, which are kind of one of his highest end cymbals.
Yep.
So think, they're your like traditional Turkish sounds. So
Okay.
they're your perfect blend of bright, dark,
Yeah, nice.
liveliness, but recording well. These are very
Sweet.
lively sounding cymbals to the player.
Yep.
But under mics, they're surprisingly controlled.
Nice.
So
Very
they've got
nice.
they're kind of the best of both worlds. They're reasonably light. They're not too dense to hit.
Yep.
They feel nice under the hand. They wash really nicely, like you'd expect a Turkish cymbal and a traditional cymbal to sound.
Yeah, beautiful. What sizes have we got then?
So I've got the 14-inch velvet hats.
Now these kind of medium, light.
They're pretty light.
Pretty light,
I
yeah.
would call them light hats.
Let's do our top and
Yeah.
tail. Okay, there, yeah.
Very light.
Yeah.
And that nice,
Yeah, it's just
nice Turkish
it's musical.
wash.
It's beautiful. Okay, so that's quite medium.
That's a medium bottom and quite a light top.
All right, that'll be quite sweet.
They've got a really good chick without having to have holes in the bottom or any kind of little waves. So they've got a nice crisp chick, which you get with the 14s.
Yeah. Ooh, they're quite good.
I love them. They've got a little bit of
Oh,
trashiness about
I'm feeling some disco, some Euros coming on. Yeah.
They're great.
yeah,
Got
nice.
the 18-inch crash,
Yeah.
which you could play as a ride.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's lovely.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful amount of decay. Like they ring on, but they don't ring on in a bad way. They stay there and they just kind of settle into a mix.
Yep.
Then I've got the 22-inch ride.
Yeah, that's lovely. Yeah. Nice.
Oh, very,
Nice.
very crashable. I love crashable rides. I think that's a gorgeous sounding cymbal.
Yeah. Jackie, what's happening over here, mate? What's going on with this backwards thing?
So I get asked a lot on my social media why I do this, because people have seen a lot of videos of me where I've got a crash there angled down.
Yeah.
The first thing is I do sit pretty high on the drum set, and I'm
do sit high,
and I'm
and
reasonably
you're pretty tall. Yeah.
I'm 6'2", so I kind of like to be on top of the drums.
Yeah.
But this came about from playing with the Lockie Dolly group and playing in little jazz clubs around Europe and wherever, where the stages are tiny. And if you haven't seen the Lockie Dolly group, he's an incredible whammy clav player and Hammond organ player.
And Jackie smashes it out. It is such an enjoyable show. I can't recommend the Lockie Dolly group enough, especially Jackie's contribution to it. It just sounds phenomenal.
Thank you.
Yeah,
but
awesome.
When we set up, because always Lockie is to this side of me.
Yeah.
And he tours with a 1957 Hammond organ, and the back is open.
Yeah.
And what I found was there were certain stages that, you know, I'm already quite close to the front because it's not a deep stage. I'm really, like, Lockie's organ takes up half the stage, and I have to find a way to fit in. So I would hide this cymbal underneath into
the opening.
Into the opening, into the back of the organ.
Classic.
So it would kind of be the organ would be kind of going over it, and it would just be hiding in there. And it was just out of necessity, so I didn't have it there and hitting it in Lockie's face because he'd bloody hate me. So I kind of got used to doing it. And then when I had more space, I kind of liked it being there.
Yeah.
So quite often I have a second ride up high here.
Yep.
And still have one underneath here like that, because I like, you know, hitting down on it.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's about how you hit the cymbal, not the angle, you know.
Because for young players, if you're
hitting right on the edge like that, but if you're hitting across it and playing it with proper technique, you know, the crash that I ride, crash that I run on that side, I've never cracked it, so I've still got it, and you know, so it's just become something that I like to do, and it's compact.
I like the story though, because often I see players who have got all their cymbals tipped forward, like this, and all these young drummers jump up and they start tipping all their cymbals forward, and then they're coming in because all the cymbals are broken. They're going, what am I doing wrong? It's a faulty cymbal. It's not. Like Jackie's saying, you've got to use good technique, and you can play a cymbal anywhere as long as you've got good technique. But often a lot of drummers, especially young drummers who are, you know, copying and tipping their cymbals forward, you're going to be hitting on this edge here, and that's not a good thing. It doesn't sound good, but it also wrecks it. But if you watch Jackie when he plays a bit later, you'll actually see how he plays it. But we're not doing jazz this time.
There'll be elements.
Jazz.
There'll be elements.
We could do 50 ways to lose your lover on the snare. Something like that. That sounds great. I really like these. Murat Diril makes fantastic cymbals. Love this brand. It's one of the cool things about doing this kind of show with Jackie is he has so many drums that around, and we're just talking about these cool things, and we get to learn and introduced to new products. And this, although it's not new, it's actually new to Australia, really, isn't it?
Well, in terms of like the kits themselves being in stores, like we were at Mooloolaba, we were one of the first shops to stock the kits. A lot of snares were getting into shops, but I got to know Keith over the years just through being a drum nerd. Got to know Mel, shout out to Mel as well, Mel Stewart. Got to know those guys just through chatting about the brand and just, you know, showing my appreciation for what they're doing. And, you know, Aaron, the distributor, then I picked one up. And then I was like, well, I need to put these in the shop because, you know, they're a great story. They're great drums. They're well made. And, you know, what I'm about at Mooloolaba Music here is stocking instruments that inspire me. And I want to have, you know, a bit of everything. I want really cool stories, and these are a really cool story.
They sure are. And they look fantastic. I'm really impressed with the drum making on this kit. I've been making drums for many years, and just seeing how different people approach drum making is really, it's interesting to me. And I love the fact that they're using cold press. It's old school, but it works. That's how boats were made and stuff like that. So it's really cool. Love the unique timbers. Sweet. Well, Jackie, I reckon there's only one thing left to do, mate. I reckon we need to hear him. Give us something special on this one.
Hit
Love
the couch,
it.
bro. Get
I'm on the couch.
man.
Wow, man, that kick drum is killing it. Oh, Jackie, that was sweet as. How'd it feel to play?
Oh, it's the 30. There's something about the 30-degree bearing edges. They feel so good to play.
Yeah.
Like even if you're not really hitting them hard, you still dig into the drum.
Yeah.
I love that.
It just has a nice energy about it.
And this snare is a special snare.
Yeah, they're all special, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
We need to take them all home.
and these cymbals complement this kit beautifully.
Yeah, they actually sat in really nice. I actually want to hear it one more time, but I'll close off and let you play out.
Yeah,
So,
all right.
And we'll get the guys to take some shots at the front and you can do your thing.
Cool.
So,
All right.
guys, thank you very much. This is Killer Drums TV. This is Gear. Jackie Barnes, special guest. Mooloolaba Music, thank you. Thank you. British Drum Company and Murat Diril Cymbals. We'll see you on the next one. Play us out, Jackie.